Hello, I'm Patricia McNeilly from Twin Flame Body. I'm in Chicago, Illinois. How are you today? I hope you're doing well. Today I want to talk to you about some of the things that come out from cosmic lives and dealings with relationships, but personal relationships, personal one-on-one romantic relationships, because this has actually skewed the way people view romance. And yet there are things that are so deep in people that it needs to come out in order for you to be healthy. So the topic of this is sort of a question: is he taking advantage of me? Is she taking advantage of me? So what does this feel like? It can feel, if you're having a sense of like, is he just using me? Is he just like, is he really going to follow through? Is he going to commit? Is he committed? I don't know. How does it feel to you? So, you could take someone and they could be saying, maybe he's just using me. How does it feel? I don't know. Are you in touch with your own feelings? I don't know. This seems so deep. I really can't tell because I really, really like him. But why would he do that? Maybe he's not doing it. Maybe all the other karmic people in a long line going way back into the cosmos did something to you. Would you like that removed? Oh, yes, absolutely. I don't want to live with this. I don't want to live with a sense of being taken advantage of, using each other, being used. Oh, and another thing, I feel like I'm being taken for granted. I feel like I'm just there to cook and clean, and there's like this list that I have to comply with, and otherwise I get punished. And yes, I know how that feels, because that's not really romantic, is it? No. Is it love? No, it's not. So what has happened out there with relationships? Well, sometimes relationships can be quid pro quo without even realizing that it's quid pro quo, because in certain lives, you just couldn't. You couldn't really get it. You were busy surviving. You did not have this time, which is for spiritual maturity, where you can begin to sense, and not only sense, but do something about some of this. And the doing something about it doesn't mean telling someone off. Hey, listen, Mr. Man, stop it. I'm going to get in your face, because this doesn't really resolve anything ultimately. It just pits people against each other, and it can get ugly. I had a class where someone said, well, why don't we want to argue? Well, you better know the strength of your opponent, and you better make sure that it is a fight worth fighting for. But I'm here to tell you, you don't need to use any violence. You don't need to even use your voice. What you need to use is your body. So what are the things that, when this comes up, is he using me? And it happens to men too. Is she taking advantage of me? Is she using me? What is she using you for? Well, you gotta sometimes really call it what it is. Is someone using you to repair their car or repair their house, or calling you every time there's a crisis, and you keep thinking it's going to mean something? Now, this time is meaningful. This time it will mean something. This time she will say yes to a date. But to her, all you are is a handy person to have in the Rolodex or on the phone at the beck and call. Now, if you don't know about electric and magnetic energy, you really should read some of my stuff or join a class where I do talk about this in detail, so that not only you are informed, but you're actually blending your own energies together with your true love, and you can naturally deflect some of this stuff. Someone may not appear to be on the surface that they're using you. They may appear to be a damsel in distress, or someone who seems to have it together, but every once in a while they need some help. But are you getting your needs met? Maybe, maybe not. Only you can answer that. Sometimes the need to be needed is all that's needed, because it's just giving you the hope to live another day. You're moving far beyond that, far beyond it. That your soul has bigger plans for you and a better, healthier relationship than just that. Okay? What else? Well, for females, it can be things like being used for sex, being used as a sexual outlet, plaything, play toy, playmate, being used to just toy with, get you riled. I mean, really, the list can go on and on. Is someone using you or taking advantage of you because you cook for them, you clean for them? Are they using you for money or taking advantage of things for money? Some of the real telltale clues are in what's not there. If you're not having face-to-face contact ever, if you never see their face and they avoid it, start to be a bit cautious at the very least. If they're asking you to send something, be ultra cautious, okay? Because sometimes other people's relationships with things may not be your problem, even if you might think it is. It has to be resolved in a brand new way. And it's not by you continuing to give handouts of any of this. What are you handing out? Okay, it's not the 1960s anymore, and free love never really was free. Free love brought with it, the downturn of drugs, people being having children that maybe they didn't love or pay attention to, when all they wanted was to, have a thing with someone, okay? A lot of people walked from their responsibilities. A lot of people were starting to pay attention to, hey, what am I going to do? Because now I need someone to cook and clean and everything else. Okay, and don't think that this doesn't happen. My own ex-husband told me this. We had already been divorced. He met someone else. I had the best wishes for him. But he called me and he was complaining. And the first thing I said is, please don't complain to me about another woman, okay? I don't even know her. I bear her no ill will. Like, please leave it out. And I said to him, because he was hemming and hawing, she wanted to marry. He kind of wanted to marry. And I said, then don't get married. I mean, you're answering your own question. His response was, yes, but who's going to cook and clean? And I said, maybe you should hire someone and pay an honest wage for honest things. And this was just but one of the things that, we kind of like really, the marriage couldn't continue, on top of the part that he was just not the one, even though I believed he was the one at some point. For a while, he was the one, until he wasn't, until the soul energy completely unraveled. And he went ahead, and she's a lovely woman, but they argue all the time because it was for the wrong reasons. For the wrong reasons. And this has been one of the ultra patterns out there of why are people, why are they together? Why do they stick together? Why do they hang together? Some of you have parents like that. Why are your parents still together when every cell inside everybody's body in the family is screaming, get away from each other, right? That happens too. I had parents who were in love, and I had the parents when their love went downhill and it drifted away to where it really belonged. And they had a real struggle with that because breaking tradition is very hard for people. That's where I come in and help you with this. That's because you have to clear the karma. So is someone marrying for status? Is someone staying because there's status? And this isn't always marriage. This is sometimes relationships. These are relationship patterns. And it boils down to trust issues. There are trust issues big time. Your heart needs to clear. This stuff tends to be stuck in the causal body connections, the causal subtle body connections, of which there are 4 levels. The eyes, the mind, the emotional body, the ego, It's not being egoic to want these things. It is being egoic to let go of the wrong person, to not let go of certain things. Okay? That's when people try to hang on to the ego parts that once protected you at one point. Your ego's not the bad thing, the willfulness is. So that's normal in everyone. I tried like so hard to hang on to certain relationships, even though something inside me was having alarm bells go off. You could say, well, it's because you're a Cancer, Patricia. You have trouble letting go of things. You stay attached. That's true. But it's also because I want harmony. And a part of me before I knew some of this didn't understand why couldn't it be harmonious anymore. You're not going to match to outdated things or outdated patterns. So take charge of this because you need to clear these karmic time wasters. Okay? If you don't, this winds up being on you to fix it and then heal from it and then get your body ready so that you actually allow your body to naturally deflect all of this stuff. And this question has been coming up in my classes. I'm telling you, the classes have been great. The sessions have been phenomenal because my skills and gift have grown even from last year. It's like, woo. The thing is that when you have these time waster type of things, and you felt like maybe you couldn't do anything. Maybe you say, am I procrastinating? The good news is we're in energies that are conducive for you to get the help that's needed by taking charge, get the help that's needed. Some of it goes really deep. You'd be surprised how deep some of this really goes. It goes really deep into the psyche. And this does not mean people with psychological issues or being a sociopath or being a narcissist. These are deep, fearful trauma things, which is why sometimes people have had some of these patterns. These can be family patterns. They could be the example of your family in relationship. And it doesn't just happen to women, it happens to men. It doesn't go by how you look. There's a lot of people that look different and they can have the same things happening to them because it has to do with being taken advantage of. You're coming back to being an individual, but a unified individual. And that requires that you approach it that way. Not what everybody else is doing, but how things feel to you. You should want healthy relationships. So the question that came up in the class, which I'm getting to here, is, does this become natural at some point? And the absolute answer is absolutely yes, hands down, because it is the natural part of you that you're integrating. It's not something that you think about and you say, wait a minute. I'm supposed to do this. Or when you go into that irrationality of the head and you're just like, I'm feeling a welling up here in my throat. I'm going to just let them have it, right? And it can be like that. I'm going to burst. Oh, I've got all these words to say. I've got so much to, oh. And you might be saying, what was all of that? Now, the odd thing is guess what happens? Because she's not properly taking charge and getting rid of these karmic things, guess who it slides over to? Right when he's supposed to go back to work and right when there's supposed to be these shiftings going on. It's exhausting. A lot of this stuff is so phenomenally exhausting that other people really don't believe it. How just breathing can be exhausting. Just thinking about things or just talking about something can be super exhausting. Yeah, there's a reason for that too. There's a new way. And the new way is through the subtle bodies. Because when you get these opened, expanded, enveloping you, That is the part of you that is natural. That is the part that lets you be a couple of feet above the earth of where everyone else is. And not with your head upside down, not with, the head attached to here. Your head connected to the high intelligence, whatever you call it, the high crystal mind. There's all kinds of names people call it. The 5D mind, the universal mind, the collective 5D crystal consciousness, all kinds of things. Let's just call it high intelligence. Even higher intelligence than exists here. The intelligence that is higher than your ego because it's a wisdom. It's wisdom and it's maturity. That's what happens. Maturity like a ripening fruit, where you have that fruit that forms, but then you leave it a little bit longer, like into the season, and starts to get ripe and juicy and sweet. How would you like to sweeten up your relationships? How would you like it if someone was catching those things about themselves and saying, I'm sorry, I feel like I'm using you. I'm sorry, I've been realizing I came across this article and, I've been kind of narcissistic, and you could go like this, like, hold the horses. Am I actually hearing this? But it's up to you to transform. Transformation 2020. Have a session, get my book, Twin Flame Relationships, where I talk to you about how to do things using your twin flame body connections, not using the mind, not using the ego, using the actual connections that are here for you. Because connecting to 5D means you should be able to have access to it, right? You should be able to put it into good use. You should be able to have it mean healthy things in your life. So if you have someone that's saying to you, you know what, I've been really thinking over our relationship, and, well, I just, I'm going to take charge of some stuff. I think I've just been a little bit too, I don't know, like a little too expecting. Is that the right word? No, sometimes the word is narcissistic, but we'll accept that. Yes, I accept. Okay, well, I still really like you. I don't know where this is going or what everything means. Like, we have a connection, but I know we have a connection. And it does start to shift, and it gets better. And the attitudes in the mind, mental attitudes, opinions, judgments, things people think of themselves, things that people think are normal but are no longer normal. What are we doing this year? A new normal. So check the links below. Email me if you have questions, or book a session. These are one-on-one sessions, and I also do group classes. I know this stuff, and it's easier to do when you bypass the psychology, when you bypass the hypnosis, when you bypass all of the stuff and utilize the higher 5D connections that truly belong to you. Thank you, and have a good day. I hope to hear from you soon. Please subscribe. Please help me grow by subscribing. I really do appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who has let me hear their beautiful love stories of coming home. Bye now.